Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert back with the Ted Show. Happy Hump Day. Today's Wednesday. Kicking off the day with the talented Dan Cross. He is on the show. We're going to talk about life skills, education, and of course, we're going to talk about sports. But he's got a youth organization. He does a lot of great stuff in our community. And so thanks to Bert for the intro. And I'm excited to have you on here, Dan. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Ted. Excited to be on with you, buddy.
Liking the jacket, man.
I appreciate it. When the first time that I met you, you kind of outdid me with your dress. So I just wanted to make sure I complimented myself with you, all right?
Well, you did fantastic, my friend. All right. So let's tell the audience a little bit about you. They love origin story. They want to get to know you. So tell them a little bit about your background so that we can get to the journey where we talk about your organizations.
Yeah, so I born in Chicago. I'm an Illinois kid. Grew up the oldest of 5, 4 boys, 1 girl.
Wow.
Born to Daniel Curtis Cross Sr. and my mom Lillian Cross. Also from Chicago by way of Carbondale, Illinois, which is where I grew up, where I went to high school. Was gracious and fortunate enough and blessed enough to attend what I believe is the greatest college and university in the history of the United States of America, University of Florida.
Go Gators!
Go Gators. Maybe a little biased about that, but hey, it's my opinion.
It's your show today. You can say whatever you'd like to say.
I appreciate it. So that is the greatest school in the land, ladies and gentlemen. So go Gators to all of my Gators. For all that are Gator haters, just fine. So. No, but with that, I've been blessed, Ted, to be able to experience probably the 4 best years of my life, to meet a lot of cool people, to be introduced to a lot of influential people just throughout the university, throughout the state. Was able to accomplish some things that had never been accomplished before at the University of Florida, like attending the first Final Four in school history, which at that time was a really big deal.
Deal then. It was big.
Yeah, for the entire state. That's not the University of Florida. So to be able to represent, college basketball for the state really meant a lot to myself and my teammates as well, who I must give a shout out to and honor and recognition to as well. From there, I spent about 10 years playing professionally. Playing professional basketball throughout the world. So I've lived in 10 different countries, Ted.
Nice.
I've traveled to over 22 different countries. So I am well diverse in culture, religions, race, people, personalities, and money.
What was that like? What was the travel like for you? Had you been out of the country before you started with the basketball?
I had not. So like most Americans, and I hate to really, give, prejudice or, the description to most Americans, but most Americans have not traveled outside of the country. In my particular community, most of us had never really traveled outside of the state. Wow. So to be able to travel abroad in countries like Italy. So I spent 2 years in Italy, in Napoli, Italy, in Bologna, Italy, a year in Athens, Greece, a year in Istanbul, Turkey,
wow.
A year in Cyprus, a year in Tel Aviv, Israel, a year in Finland. Like I've seen the world. It was the best. Venezuela, Dominican Republic, you name it, most Australia. I've been blessed to see the world and to see the world how they see America. So it's nice when you can now come back home and appreciate where you come from, which is a lot different than, being able to look through a glass window at what others perceive other countries to be. So I'm careful of how media, expresses and shares with the public, how they feel, and just have been blessed through the game of basketball to be able to see the world.
I love it. It's life-changing, I think. When you go abroad, if you haven't been abroad before, I know this is a crazy time to pick that up, but it just changes your perspective. I believe it makes it deeper. And I definitely was loved I loved Italy. I love all of Europe. I
Nice,
love traveling, but
nice,
it is wonderful to come back to our amazing country. It makes me even more appreciative to live here.
for sure, for sure.
All right, so let's talk. So you travel. You finished that career. You did 10 years, and then for a lot of athletes, for a lot of people that transition out of working in the athletic world, they don't know what to do. So what was your plan, or what did you end up doing once you transitioned out?
Listen, I have to say, and giving all due respect to the game and sport, that I have dedicated my life to, much like many other young men and women in their respective sports. It does not prepare you for life after sports. For the majority of athletes, for the majority of professionals that have done something their entire lives and now trying to figure out what next they want to do. What are they good at? What are they passionate about? What have they been taught? What actually has school done? What has education done to prepare or not to prepare you for a career? And so I faced all of those emotions, which I try to avoid or avoid. Depression, anxiety, a lot of things that athletes or as men, we choose to cover up just because of the superhero cape that we put on,
Right.
thinking that we can figure everything out. So it was a very difficult transition for me. Even though I thought I had it figured out, I just knew nothing about business, how to run a business. I had all the leadership skills. I had all the qualities and skill sets, but I didn't know how to translate that over to the business world. And
Sure.
so,
Well, you hadn't been focusing on that
no,
all your life up to that. You've been focusing on your sport, your passion, basketball, or one of your
correct.
passions. It's hard to
And
make that transition out. Not There are people who make the leap into business from anywhere, and a lot of people go in blindly. It's not an easy thing
no.
to transition out, let alone start a new business. So, what did you end up doing?
So started out running, founded my foundation, Athlete Connections Foundation. I thought that I knew what the mission was at the time and was convinced that that mission would not change and transition as time went on. So, my focus at that time was to help student athletes transition out of sports into the business world. And so we had started to develop student athlete career fairs to expose student athletes to business owners, within communities and throughout the state. We had started a job posting site to help employ student athletes, but wanted to more focus on the youth, just because I found it hard for people to donate to college students, or
Right.
in this case, athletes, that are perceived to have it all. So really thing only athletes really have that are on scholarship is the scholarship, is the free education. That doesn't include necessarily, money to have for food, money to go out and eat, or, some of the miscellaneous things that, most students have a chance to do. So that focus now started to change over to, providing opportunities for youth to make sure that they were prepared for college, that they
What opportunities? What did those look like? Tell us. So that's the life skills part and education part. What we're talking about.
Correct. So that more or less looked like exposing youth through my travel teams and making sure that the young men were exposed to college coaches to receive free educations. And so because I understood the blueprint of how to get a scholarship through athletics, I wanted to take advantage of exposing young men to the same opportunities that I had.
Right.
And so there's a process to it. But if you trust the process, like with any other performing arts, whether it's music or anything else, like if you get really good at it, somebody's going to give you an opportunity.
It's true.
And so we provided those kind of opportunities for young men to be a part of a sport, which is really a hook to teach youth life skills. So now I have their attention because they want to play basketball, much like myself. The incentive is you must do well in school. Much like myself, if that was not an incentive, then I would not have done well in school. So I was now going and teaching everything that I was once taught. that a village once taught me. And so that is how the foundation gave birth.
So how has it changed? You said you didn't really know what your mission was in the beginning. That's such an honest, wonderful answer, because I think a lot of people go into foundations or to creating anything, and then they're afraid to say, well, shoot, I need to adjust this a little bit as I learn. So kudos to you for saying that. Yes. What did it start out with, and where is it now?
Yes, again, it started out with providing most of the services to college student athletes, because that's who I identify with. And it was an easy walk-in. It was easy for me to go to the University of Florida and sit in front of Jeremy Foley, the athletic director at that time, and say, hey, Jeremy, this is what we need to do at the university. Will you allow me to provide these services under a nonprofit platform, since I knew the university ran as a nonprofit model? And so that just slowly transitioned to, hey, I have to do more than just impact student athletes at the collegiate level. There's more to this. I didn't want to believe it at the time, but I'm looking at kids that are looking for opportunities, teenagers that are getting in trouble because they have nothing to do. They have no guidance. Unfortunately, in our culture and society, the two-parent home society is dwindling down. So now you're dealing with the single mom or the single dad. Divorce rate is high. Unfortunately, I went through the same thing. And so now I'm a single father trying to raise two kids on a parenting plan that may or may not work. So I'm dealing with parents, dealing with the same thing. Mom didn't want to talk to dad. Dad didn't want to talk to mom. Kid is in the middle. I now become Coach Dan, Uncle Dan, Friend Dan, and now the gym becomes the safe haven.
I love it. So, it is a safe haven. That's a great description from other athletes that have participated in programs or did anything where somebody took an interest in them and they were trying to keep them occupied and give them the skills. They always say it was their safe place, their safe haven.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So I understand safe haven. Basketball is still my safe haven. It's my therapy. And this is how I can relate to kids going through. You can't even imagine what's going on in their homes.
Yeah.
And so if I'm able to, if my board is able to, if my village, my circle of friends is able to impact, and basketball becomes the Disney World. So when they go home, the only thing they have to do is do their homework, eat, go to sleep, wake up to go to school the next morning. Then that helps with the process until we can get them out. Not that every home is like that, but that's what I'm dealing with.
And for some of those kids, that's the first time they've had a safe place.
Correct.
And that's the challenge, I think. That's why programs like yours, like AC for Youth, it's so important in our community.
Yeah.
Because some of these kids, I mean, people see it on the news and we get desensitized, but you and I have seen it up close and personal. And it is really rough. And it's so wonderful to have for those kids to have a safe place, for something to look forward to as well. I mean, they go, like you said, they eat dinner, do their homework, go to sleep, go to school, and then they cannot wait to get back to Disney World.
Exactly.
Which is what you've created for them, a place where they can express themselves, and they know that they're going to be taken care of. And there's just so many positives to what you all do. Where is that? Like, where do you operate? I met you. I know where I met you, but where do you operate? Do you operate in schools? Do you work with churches? How do you reach them?
Man, we are 2020 virtual nonprofit organization. We really don't have a brick and mortar. Everything to this point, and we've had it before, but I did more work out of the office than I was in the office. Yeah. And so everything has been word of mouth, because we provide certain services to youth. Parents are looking for these type of programs to get involved with. So yes, basketball is one sector of what we do, but we have life skill days. So we're teaching kids, we go to Regions Bank. So Regions Bank is a partner. So we'll take them in to teach them financial literacy by the best. Then we'll take them over to Morgan & Morgan. Dan Morgan sits on my board. So we'll take them over to Morgan & Morgan and teach them about the legal and laws of the land. Then we'll take them over to the juvenile system to teach them and expose them to their peers, about what it's like to be in front of, Judge Egan and Judge Evans. and the officers that are dealing with kids. And so it now becomes more of a virtual than a brick and mortar for the services that we provide. So it's something that we provide for Central Florida. You may see me in the Citrus Club. You may see me in Paramore. You may see me on the east side of town. You may see me in Pine Hills. You may see me in Lake Nona. The goal is to provide an opportunity and service to kids that want to do something with their lives. I'll teach them the rest.
Now, how does Cross Academy come into play?
So Cross Academy, thank you for asking, stemmed from a life skills workbook that I developed with 3 sports psychologists probably 6 or 7 years ago, Ted. And it was just a workbook that I put together because I was frustrated with my coach, and no disrespect to him, but I was frustrated with him and anyone else that had promised certain things to me based off of a skill set that I had developed to help others progress with their careers, but chose to kind of leave me behind with mine, or for me to figure it out on my job with financial advisors and with money because I only knew how to save money. I didn't know how to really invest money, or I was trusting someone else to invest my money. So now I said, well, let me put together some financial literacy education just to help athletes understand how not to be taken advantage of. We hear it every day. Then I said, well, I didn't know what career I was interested in going to. I graduated from one of the top schools in communication, but what's the likelihood of me going into communication? I know how to talk. I'm on the radio, but I don't think that's a career for me. So I wonder, am I the only guy that feels this way? Am I the only person that feels that I've graduated a degree and I don't know what to do with it? So I created a career readiness and career assessments to help kids or help students figure out what careers that they're interested in going to, which is very simple. Like once I know what I'm interested in and most importantly, what I'm not interested in, like that's going to save a lot of time and a lot of money.
I was just going to say, like, if you've coached them and you've counseled them, people think they want to do something, and then they get into the first semester of college and they're like, what was I thinking? Because all they had was this dream. They hadn't done any research, really. They really didn't know what they were getting into. If you want to be a doctor and you hate science and math, it's probably going to be a big challenge for you, right?
Exactly.
But if you had the idea your whole life that you want to be a doctor, then that's what you go toward.
Yeah.
How awesome it is. So you help them. You give them the skills or give them the assessments so that they can kind of figure out where their real likes and passions are.
Correct. So that all of that, in a long story made short, transitioned into developing a workbook that now is transferred over to an online learning platform. And how perfect is it, unfortunately, in a time to where COVID-19 has taken over the educational system and how learning will be learned for at least the next 50 years of our life. It now provided us an opportunity to provide an online learning life skills curriculum to be taught at private school, public schools, and organizations. So that's what Cross Academy LMS is all about.
So needed, Dan. And I know I'm preaching to the choir with you, but I mean, my kids, they grew up in my house, so they didn't learn how to write a check some of the things we didn't teach them looking back. Yeah. So imagine, we don't think about those things anymore, and they don't teach them in school anymore. There's no more home ec or workshop or whatever. And there's I know some of the schools have them now, but that's not really part of the overall curriculum. So kids graduate and they don't know how to do the basic adulting kind of things.
No. And so they have to learn the hard way. And so because my father and actually my family are educators. My father was a principal for 30 years at Carbondale Community High School. I have a brother, and he has a doctor's degree. I have another brother with a doctorate degree at University of Illinois, Joe Cross. So all my brothers played Division I basketball. All my brothers graduated from college. My sister graduated from college. My sister has a master's degree. My brother has a doctorate degree. My dad has a doctorate degree. I have another brother with 3 degrees. I have 1 degree, but my my degree in life probably is a PhD or of PhD status. And so I come from a family of educators. I didn't necessarily believe in school or education. I was flunking out of high school, and my dad was a teacher at the high school.
Wow.
But I understood that an incentive of playing basketball encouraged me to have to make the honor roll for the next 3 years. So in understanding the importance of education, there are some things that are lacking. So I'm not trying to point fingers at the educational system, but it's designed a certain way.
Yes.
So we're just trying to help enhance how it's been designed to make sure at the end of the day, these kids have a little bit more knowledge than math, science, and English.
All right. So if somebody wants to get involved with AC for Youth or Cross Academy, LMS, how do they reach you? What's the best way? And then the second part of that is, what can we do, those in the community, what can we do to help?
Well, let's answer the first question. What can you do to help? There's two websites that should be scrolling across your screens, I'm assuming, Ted. And so yes. All viewers and listeners can go to www.ac4youth.org. Again, www.ac4youth.org. We have our 12th annual celebrity golf fundraiser coming up, which is the best way to get involved, to give back, for our scholarship funds, for young men that are preparing for their SAT and ACT, college readiness. And then if you're wanting, as for our educators, our decision makers that are looking to implement online learning into school systems or into youth organizations, you can go to Cross Academy LMS. LMS stands for Learning Management System.com to learn more about what we're doing to impact educational institutions actually throughout the country. So just really excited to be in a good space, a good place, to be able to give back in many ways, to be passionate about something finally. And most importantly, I forgot to mention my beautiful son and daughter, who are both students at University of Florida. My son is on a football team there. My daughter is studying to be in pre-med. And so I would not be breathing if it were not for them. That's beautiful. So they give me life to be able to do what I enjoy doing. It has come at the ultimate cost. So everything that I have discussed is not what I have heard or read. It is what I have experienced. So what I'm sharing with you through my websites is a part of me, and I'm appreciative for the opportunity, Ted, to speak about that.
I love it. Loved you when I met you. I thought you are one of the most humble, but certainly one of the most driven people, but driven in such a good way to help the community, to help our youth. I think it's really awesome and amazing what you're doing. So I want you guys to reach out, ac4youth.org or crossacademylms.com.
Yes.
I might say .org down there, but .com. Dan Cross is also available on all social media platforms, or you can reach out to me, get involved. If you love to play golf, reach out to me or reach out to Dan. We'll get you involved. That's a great
October 2nd, a hot landing, Ted.
October 2nd. All right,
yeah.
Dan, that was awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Appreciate it, my man. Thanks for that.
We'll see you guys later. Have a good one.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.